Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome back to Rotten Tomatoes Month. Fresh movies from 60% to 100%. This got an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a 1994 action thriller drama starring the late great Brandon Lee. This is a really hard movie to watch because it's the last film he ever finished, well, mostly finished, and it's the director Alex Proyas' is one of his greatest movies. The Crow. Yes, this movie is amazing. A stunning work of visual style. Amazing, yeah. Even the CGI is a little dated, but I still like the opening, and I love the way the movie looks. It's very dark and edgy. And this movie, I'm gonna say this right now, this is more violent and more intense than The Dark Knight. Come at me. Both films are very similar. Had a lead that died. It's very dark, and excuse me, it's one of the most intense experiences ever. And also, well, this movie is much shorter though. This movie has an advantage when it comes to the running time. It's only an hour and 41 minutes. I bet it would have been 2 hours, but since Brandon Lee died, they had to do a movie, the rest of the movie with a body double from, distant shots. But I'm not going to hate the movie because it took, Brandon Lee away from us. It was the stunt man that did that. The guy working with the effects. He should have known better. He should have used a fake gun or just used sparks or something. Because I blame that guy. I know it was an accident, but still, people need to know what they're doing before they do a movie that's going to have explosions and gunfire and massive, collateral damage. They need to be safe. I need to be safe. I almost get hit by a car every time I walk outside. But anyway, you know the story of this movie. Eric Draven, played by Brandon Lee, his wife to be gets murdered, and on the eve of their Halloween wedding, yeah, Halloween, that also makes it pretty dark. Exactly 1 year after their deaths, Eric is risen from the grave by a mysterious crow to seek out his killers and force them to answer for their crimes. And it's a breathtaking movie. Like the visuals, the soundtrack is kick ass. The film has an amazing cast. Besides Brandon Lee, you got Ernie Hudson. He plays a detective in the movie. He's really good. Michael Wincott's in the movie. Um, there's also this guy that plays the villain who's really good. Like he's really creepy and he has a gang of killers. It's kind of like in RoboCop, but instead of a sci-fi movie, it's more like a dark and emo. Yes, very emo. This movie is one of the most emo films ever. See, Kylo Ren, this is how you do emo right. You don't do. You take the darkness and you embrace it, and you say screw the haters, and you have like makeup that looks like this. This makeup is amazing. Like WCW stole this look when Sting was in WCW and had black and white makeup. He looked just like the Crow, except without the bird around him. But yeah, I like this better, of course, because this is the original, the OG of the makeup. Before Sin City and The Dark Knight rose, there was The Crow, the dark, lurid revenge fantasy from director Alex Proyas. Yeah, he did Dark City. I haven't seen that. His worst is Gods of Egypt. I hated that movie because that is a waste of his talent. He also did I, Robot, which I really enjoy as well. The guy has a really cool visual style that I like. But when he does shitty CGI, sword and sandal movies, it's not going to work. Brandon Lee in his final performance, yeah, I wish that Brandon Lee was still alive, man. He would have been in Mortal Kombat. He would have been in The Expendables. They would have done a sequel to Rapid Fire, and The Crow would have done better, had a better franchise if he was still the lead. Like I saw the second movie and I was so underwhelmed. Talk about an underwhelming sequel with a Spanish guy with a shitty accent taking Brandon Lee's place. One of the only good things in that movie is Mia Kirshner, and it was one of the last films. The actress that played Trini in Power Rangers, she did that movie too. So may she rest in peace. I think Tui Tang, something like that. Yeah, she was in that movie. Yeah, I miss her. But yeah, the original Crow. This movie is very very dark. Parents, I implore you, don't let your kids watch this movie unless they're 17 or 18. It's very violent. It's really dead serious. There is no comedy in this movie. The look of the film is very dreary for children. This is like a movie that Frank Miller would have wrote. It's written by David J. Schow and John Shirley. And the reason it works is because it's not a dated movie. Some of the CG is, but some of the visuals, the makeup effects and the blood and the stunt work and the way the film looks. It doesn't have bullshit slow mo in it like a Zack Snyder movie. Snyder wishes he made a movie like this. The closest he got to this was Watchmen, because it's also very dreary and dark and really bloody. But I enjoy this movie. It's really hard to watch because Brandon Lee is no longer with us. And when I found out, I was like 9. I was like, "What? Bruce Lee's son died? How did that happen?" Now I know the details. It was a malfunction. But like I said, it's a really well done movie. I want to rewatch it again because it's been a while. And there's a commentary I want to listen to with the producer Jeff Most and screenwriter John Shirley, because Proyas didn't want to do a commentary at the time. And it's from 1994, so you millennials, half of you weren't even born at that time. Some of you were, but you were babies or little kids. And the film just, it works. It still holds up. The film is like, this year it's 25 years old, The Crow. This summer it'll be 25 years old, and it is one of the darkest comic book movies ever made. And what the Crow did right, movies like Spawn and Jonah Hex and other movies did wrong. Because Spawn, the 1997 live action movie, they got some things right in the comics, like the way Spawn looks and the Violator and some of the visual cues, but it should have been R. You can't make some revenge movie for kids. I'm sorry. Logan would have been watered down if it was PG-13. Deadpool, Deadpool 2, freaking Watchmen, 300, the Punisher movie with Thomas Jane, uh, Blade. You can't do these movies for kids. If it has a lot of blood and swearing and darkness to it, you should not show it to youngsters. It'll scar them for life, and they won't grow up feeling, like real men and women. But this movie is stunning. It's a good movie. 81%. Hell yeah. It's a freaking it holds it stands the test of time. And if you haven't seen this movie, watch this one. Avoid some of the sequels. The TV show I haven't seen. I saw the second movie and I was just underwhelmed. At first I liked it, but I'm like, without Brandon Lee, it's just not the same. I haven't seen Salvation or Wicked Prayer or the TV show, but I will someday. And I'm not going to review them this month. This is the only really good one, the standout of the franchise. And like I said, Brandon Lee, may you rest in peace. I miss you. I wish you had lived longer. And I miss your father as well, Bruce Lee, because he was the man. And the Lee curse, just it was horrible, man. What happened to these wonderful Asian actors, martial artists, good people, decent human beings? There's not enough of those anymore. And Hollywood, don't remake this. You wanted to do this with Jason Momoa. He's doing fine with Aquaman. Leave him out of it. Just don't touch this movie. You're not going to do it better. You're not going to get that gothy darkness. You can't make a movie darker than dark, because this is pitch black. Like, there's barely any laughs in this movie because it's not a comedy. The Predator and Venom, yeah, this is better than Venom, people. You people loved Venom, saying, "Oh, this is so dark and it's so cool," and Venom is hilarious, and Tom Hardy is so freaking intriguing. I'm like, see this movie and see which one is better, which one will hold up longer. Venom was a shitty movie that people let their nostalgia blind them, and the movie made over almost $1 billion. This little movie didn't cost $100 million, and it still looks good. It has a kick-ass lead that's no longer with us, but gave the performance of his life. And he would have won an Oscar for this if the Academy was better than, nowadays, where they only give posthumous Oscars to the people like, Heath Ledger, who deserved it for Dark Knight. But, like I said, this is it on par with his performance. And like I said, I like the character, and I like the way the film looks, and I like the story. It's a little, there's some characters that kind of do nothing. I think whatchamacallit, John Polito is in the movie, and he's not in the film that much. And like I said, sometimes the violence is really, really intense, and it's going to be hard for some people to watch, especially nowadays. And like I said, it's pitch black. You're not going to do it better with a remake. So that's The Crow, and it's an awesome movie, but it's hard to watch for some people, especially if you lost a loved one recently. But anyway, thanks for watching, and check out The Crow from '94. It works, and it's not pussified at all, and it's a movie that deserves its credit. So see you guys in the next review.